If you want to have the most secure experience in crypto, get yourself a hardware wallet. But in terms of Hashpack as a non-custodial wallet, we've never had any vulnerabilities. Over this past year, we've probably audited the code base around 700 times.
I appreciate your time, first of all.
So the way that we approach cybersecurity is extremely, we take it super seriously. So basically every single line of code is audited internally by the team. We're audited by a third party. Obviously, in terms of if you want to have the most secure experience in crypto, get yourself a hardware wallet and, use that. There's Decent, there's Ledger, although Ledger still doesn't have the HTS tokens, the NFT, and the NFTs hopefully soon. And then soon enough, there's going to be Citadel wallet also coming into Hedera, right? That's going to be launching coming months. So that's really the most secure way to store your assets. But in terms of Hashpack as a non-custodial wallet, we've never had any vulnerabilities. And I'd probably say that over this past year, we've probably audited the code base around 700 times. And this is my layman's term, my layman understanding in terms of how this all thing works. We look for all the vulnerabilities, right? So when data's coming in, when data's being transferred, is there any way where it could be exposed? And, if there is, it's never going to go live. So those are the types of things that we're all constantly thinking about, because at the end of the day, the most important part is to keep the private, the seed phrases and the private keys completely secure. And, we've never had any issues with that.
Big picture time frame, what is the goals of Hashpack?
So as Hashpack, as infrastructure providers, our number one priority is to try and get people to give companies the tools so they can build applications that their users use for extended periods of time. We want to create those rails that make it extremely easy for people to build applications that are very engaging, right? The amount of people, I spend quite a bit of time on TikTok and whatever other, or YouTube, right? How many, do you think YouTube has a problem of people are not spending 15 minutes a day on YouTube?
No.
Spending hours on YouTube a day, or in TikTok is even more, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what we think is missing on Web3. I definitely think that in terms of different networks, I think that in the long in the long term, I think that networks won't matter. I think that it's just going to be a choice. It's like choosing AWS or Microsoft Azure. Do you really care? Do you even know? Right? I think that bridging and being able to do things in different networks is going to be seamless. It's going to take a lot of work to do that. But that's really where we think that's when there's going to be an inflection point. That's when our grandparents and all of the Zoomers will come in and actually start using this, because it's going to be easy to use.
I was with my friend, and he and I are pretty big miners. So he was the first person I ever paid in crypto for a good or service. And anyways, I was paying him in crypto, and we were doing a test with we did Polygon on the Matic network, which is supposed to be all about speed. And I sent the transaction, and by the time it hard transaction cleared, it was 4 minutes or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. That's way faster than ACH. And then I did HBAR on Hashpack, and I sent it to, I think I sent it to Coinbase, or I might have sent it to his Hashpack. I don't remember. But I hit the transaction, and by the time I looked up at my computer, it was already there. I was like, whoa.
It's really incredible. And I guess on that, just this week, it got 50% faster. So yeah, it's just getting faster. The thing that I keep, so we all have friends that are not into crypto, right? And yesterday I was at a dinner, and we were talking about Bitcoin and paying with Bitcoin for dinner. And I was like, well, the issue there is if we are going to introduce crypto, it has to be, or several orders of magnitude better than using your Visa, right? It has to be faster. It has to be clear fast. Otherwise, it's just going to be what? Do I have to pay 30 minutes before I even get up? Like, so obviously each network, like I said, like will have has their own things. Bitcoin, we wouldn't be here without Bitcoin. We wouldn't be here without Ethereum, and we're super grateful for that. But speed, if we want to onboard billions of people, speed is essential.
Mm.
Speed and throughput and so on. And obviously, I mean, Hedera, it's locked in at 10,000. Like it's Lehman has talked about it. Like if they even do one shard, it's going to be crazy. Like I don't even want to think about it.
What was like the sentiment around the Hashpack? All the employees when that happened. Like, how was everyone feeling? Like when FTX collapsed, Bitcoin bottoms out at 15,500. What was the sort of the sentiment around Hashpack?
So I mean, we've been like everyone in the team has been in crypto for a long time. I mean, I saw Mount Gox happen, so like I've seen all the cycles. It's like they don't even face me anymore. It's like, oh well, here you go again, right? It's like
It's
that
that
part of
time.
it's that GTA meme. It's like, oh shit, here we go again. But so it didn't really phase us. I mean, obviously, we're big proponents of like not hey, not your keys, not your crypto.
Mm.
Uh, and but it was horrific for the space, and we had to sympathize with everyone that lost a lot of money. And we did that. We helped a ton of people. Like I mean, we have that week was insane in terms of support. We had thousands and thousands and thousands of support tickets of
Mm.
people, and the stories are really heartbreaking. And we kind of gathered as a team and said, okay, well, I mean, obviously, what we're doing is enabling people to avoid those, right? But there's a lot of education that has to go,
Mm.
uh, that has to be stepped up to continue to educate people that, hey, look, yes, having it in the exchange is super easy, it's hassle free. You don't have to have your seed phrases. It's great, right? But at the same time, like I said, right, like even as an employee from Hashpack, I'm going to tell you, if you want to keep it the most secure, get a hardware wallet. You're still going to be using Hashpack in some way or
Mm-hmm.
another, but like get a hardware wallet. And since then, one of the things that we changed is we've really stepped up that education in terms of, hey, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you, so you do this. So but at the end of the day, like I'm not like I can't just make you do it.
Mm.
Like I can't. Like
Right.
it's the user's choice. So from that, I think that happened in what was it, November of last year?
November 8th. Yep.
Yeah, November last year. And so since then, we partnered up with a media company called Gymfinity that does a bunch of just Twitter Spaces. Ryan Solomon, he has his YouTube channel, and we've done a lot. Like we've done 150 interviews or something like that. Governing council members, Lehman, Mens, and you name it. Basically anyone on Hedera, and it's a current theme. There's a theme that we've sustained throughout that whole entire time, and it's, hey, like make sure you keep your assets secure. Like make sure that you are taking the precautions so these things don't happen to you.
Mm.
Make sure that you don't go into phishing sites, or that you don't click a link that you don't know about, right? So obviously, some people still fall through the cracks. Twitter's not for everyone. Discord's not for everyone. We put all of the warnings, and it still happens. But what we've seen from that is massive reduction. And so, yeah, we're spending a ton of time on education. Obviously, in January, we introduced the email onboarding to kind of put a wrap on all of that, because if it's complicated for you, or you're scared to have a seed phrase written down, hey, create an email, create a wallet through an email, and that's going to be fine.
Mm.
And then from there, the next step is like get a hardware wallet.
Yeah.
But we also have to understand that people have to take things one step at a time.
Yeah, I feel like I have a responsibility on both ends of the spectrum as being a creator. I'm more of a charts guy, but also I feel like I'm an educator, and on two ends of the spectrum, like genuinely, I do not believe in the U.S. dollar, and I know how this. There's been 300 fiat currencies since ancient Egypt, and there have been 300 failed fiat currencies since ancient Egypt, and we've lost 98% of the purchasing power since 1971. So like, I know how this goes, and like I've literally have talked to my friends, like I don't want US dollars anymore. Like literally, like I don't want them anymore. So I feel like I have a responsibility to like warn people like, hey, the Titanic is sinking over here. It's 98% of the way done. If I owned a crypto and it was down 98%, I'd be pissed. You know what I mean? But people are just fine with that for some reason, just because, oh, that's how we've always done it. This is how we're always going to do it. And that's sort of one aspect of it. And the other aspect of it is like everything has a cost. You know what I mean? There's nothing in life that's free. So it's like you can either have convenience or you can have security. You cannot have both. And if you want security, then there's a minimum of like 30 minutes, an hour of education that is necessity so that like the FTX sort of stuff doesn't happen to you. But it's too easy. Like I always relate it to like I'm a physical silver stacker as well. And I always relate it like this. The exchanges are I wouldn't go into a coin shop, buy some silver. You know what I mean? I wouldn't buy an ounce of silver or whatever and be like, all right, just leave it at the coin shop. Like, no, I would take the silver to my house and put it in my safe in my house. But when you buy crypto on an exchange, that's essentially what you're doing. It's like the exchanges are for exchanging. They're not for storing, you know?